gratitude kind of has a branding problem. Like somewhere along the way, I feel it got ruined. The daily journaling rituals, the toxic positivity, the good vibes only kind of Instagram post with the little sparkle emoji. Being told to count your blessings, you should just be more grateful. It kind of became insufferable. So, for those in the US, happy Thanksgiving week. This is peak gratitude season. But whether or not you're carving turkey right now, it's kind of worth asking, does any of this actually work? And if it does, how can you make it less cringe, less annoying? I used to have a pretty good daily gratitude journaling practice. And at first, it really worked. When I was in therapy, it was super helpful to kind of get my thoughts, all of the thoughts and emotions down to paper and just really focus on what I was grateful for. So, yes, at the beginning, it worked. It shifted my focus. I felt better afterwards, lifted my mood, and gave me this little moment of pause. I was doing it in the morning. But then after a while, it kind of became another box to tick. And I'd sit there writing pretty much the same things every single morning, like on autopilot. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my body that can move. I'm grateful for my coffee. It was super generic and pretty meaningless after a while. So the ritual was there, but the attention wasn't. Maybe that sounds familiar to you. Now, I only journal now when my thoughts kind of need untangling or when my chest feels a bit heavy. Not really as a daily discipline, but more as a tool for when it might actually be useful. And here's the thing. Turns out that I'm not alone. The research actually explains why traditional gratitude practices kind of fades over time and what actually works instead without the cringe. So today I'm breaking down 3 ways to do gratitude that don't suck. Evidence-based, no toxic positivity here, and definitely no guilt spirals that you're not doing it right. Ready? Let's dive in. Hey, I'm Noemi, former queen of bad habits and corporate go-getter turned well-being coach and personal growth junkie. And in a world full of overwhelming wellness advice, we're here to cut through the noise. This is your space to master healthy habits, transform your mindset, own your well-being, and design a life you love on your terms. We're ditching the highlight reels and embracing the whole messy, imperfect journey towards becoming our absolute best selves. You're the author of your own story. So are you ready to write the next chapter? Let's go, and welcome to Unwritten Potential. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Unwritten Potential with me, Noemi. All right, before we get into what works, let's talk about why the usual approach kind of backfires. And the problem isn't gratitude itself. It's the packaging. Daily journaling loses its power really fast. It becomes routine. We write the same things every day, like I was on autopilot. And so we stop paying attention. And if we stop paying attention, the practice becomes totally meaningless. Also, we're fighting our own wiring here. Our brains adapt to good things and stop noticing them. It's called hedonic adaptation. It actually works for both good things and bad things. We just adapt to them, and it's annoyingly effective. That's why grateful for my health, my family, my home, it kind of feels empty after like 2 weeks. Your brain's already moved on. It's bored. And then there's the guilt spiral. When you're struggling, being told to just focus on what you're grateful for, it kind of feels like a slap, right? You end up feeling bad about not feeling grateful enough, which helps absolutely no one. So if traditional gratitude practices haven't worked for you, you're not doing it wrong. You're just doing the version that doesn't actually work. Okay, so what actually does work? Number 1, less is more. Researcher Sonia Lyubomirsky found something super interesting. The people who practice gratitude weekly, they show greater increases in well-being than those who did it daily, weekly, not daily. Frequency isn't the goal, attention is. And specificity beats quantity too. One deeply noticed moment is way more powerful than a generic list of 5 things. Like, I'm grateful for the way my colleague stepped up and covered for me without being asked when I was feeling super overwhelmed last Tuesday. That lands totally differently than I'm grateful for my coworkers, right? So if journaling has felt like a chore to you, maybe try to do it less, but also try to mean it more. Number 2, subtract, don't add. You know, subtraction is one of my favorite secret weapons. And this one is super interesting because mentally subtracting something from your life is way more effective at sparking genuine gratitude than simply listing what you have. It's called the George Bailey effect after the 1946 movie, It's a Wonderful Life. I haven't watched it. I just came across it in the research. So instead of writing, I'm grateful for my partner, imagine your life without them. What would you be missing? What would feel different? And this works because it cuts through that hedonic adaptation problem I just talked about. We stop taking things for granted when we're forced to confront their absence, even if it's just hypothetically. And the beauty here, no journal required. Number 3, express gratitude. Don't just list gratitude, but express it. Gratitude is a social emotion. The research found that gratitude letters and conversations have way stronger effects on well-being than private journaling. Now, it doesn't need to be this grand undertaking. I love the idea of a beautiful handwritten letter with a fountain pen and that goes on forever. But honestly, who has time for this? But the good news, a thank you text also counts. Telling someone exactly what they did and why it mattered, that also counts. And it creates connection. And that's where gratitude actually lives. Writing things privately is totally fine. But if you want the deeper benefit, let it out of your notebook and express it, especially if your gratitude is towards someone. Let it out of your notebook. Okay, let's bring this together. Gratitude isn't about adding to your already super full plate, especially it's the end of the year. There's going to be a lot going on. It's definitely not about performing toxic positivity, the type of positivity that you don't feel, but it's about attention, noticing what's there, especially before it's gone. If traditional gratitude journaling has never worked for you, you are not the problem. The packaging was. I'm super turned off by a lot of the gratitude practices that I come across online. So here's your one thing to try this week. Pick one person or one thing. And instead of writing, I'm grateful for whatever person or thing, spend 30 seconds imagining your life without this person or this one thing. Notice what shifts. And if something lands, get it out of your notebook. Tell them. No journal needed, no performance required, just a little bit of attention. If you want to go deeper into this, I've written a full newsletter breaking down all of the research. You can head to unwrittenpotential.com to subscribe and also read this week's essay. And if you loved this week's episode, do me a favor, take a screenshot, share it on your stories, tag me. It really helps other people find the show. Thank you so much for your attention. If you're in the US, I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for being here with me for this very short but sweet, hopefully, episode. And I will see you next week.